right, the game fans. Yeah, I'm back. I actually watched episodes 3 and 4 yesterday, and they were really good, really good. I just gotta say up front, I'm enjoying the game so far because it doesn't feel like the game from the CW. It doesn't feel like the game from BET. This iteration of the game, it really feels like its own show, despite the fact that, we have Tasha Mack and Malik Wright. But, we have just a cast of different and new characters. Yes, it's Brittany Pitts, but it's Adrian Ray, who I feel like really, I think she's probably the best Brittany we've had so far. I mean, the first one obviously is the OG, but I would definitely put this third iteration of Brittany over the one from the BET days. That's probably the best way to say it. But we're talking season 10, episode 3, entitled "The Diva Went Down to Georgia." And the synopsis: Tasha travels to the Georgia countryside in hopes of signing her white whale. Malik, Jameson, and Fury teammate Garrett Evans play golf with the Colonel with unexpected results. Brittany helps Raquel track down a family heirloom. So before going further in the review, make sure you take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Hit subscribe as we close in on 190,000 subscribers. Hit that bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. And follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. This episode, I'm going to give a solid 8 out of 10. So, first off, Malik is still seeing hallucinations of his friend Caleb, so I guess this might be a recurring theme throughout the season. And I always, kind of forget that, oh yeah, this season's only 10 episodes. But I wonder by the end of this season, perhaps his ghost will disappear if, Malik somehow comes to grips with his death as well as the next stage of his own life, trying to obtain ownership. But, the episode starts out with Jameson working out. Apparently, a security officer he knows, Zeke, allows him to come into the school. I believe this is the high school he went to. I could be wrong, though. But he's going in here to train. He's going, early in the morning to train for like 5 hours to work out. But since training camp starting soon, he's no longer able to show up to the venue to actually train. So he has to find a new spot. In the midst of this, Brittany and Tasha are getting on a flight. Pretty much Tasha's going down to Georgia in order to get her white whale. Keith, let me see if I can get the last name. I'm pretty sure Keith Kincaid, in order to sign him to her, representation firm. Now, Brittany, on the other hand, wants to go too, but she's stuck here in, Vegas in order to work out an upcoming event, as well as, handle some things. Basically, chores, if you want to go that far. And she just feels like she's being underutilized by Tasha, but she has to do what she has to do. So in the midst of this, we learn that Tasha, who still plans on representing Jameson as well as getting him into a training camp somehow, some way on the team, he's actually working for Malik. Pretty much, I miss Barry Floyd, aka, I think that's the name, Barry Floyd, aka TT. But I guess between the ghost of Caleb and Jameson kind of being the rookie, if you will, the Derwin Davis of this series, TT might not show up. I hope he does, but he probably won't. But even though I miss TT, I love the dynamic between Malik and Jameson. So, Jameson, is painting or setting up TVs. He's just doing some things around Malik's place that need fixing because the money that he earns from, the jobs he's doing at Malik's, which honestly, when you think about it, remember in the Oval, Barry doesn't have a typical job or a traditional job. He just does things around the neighborhood, paint, fix things. So it's kind of cool that he's doing the same thing in the game. So he's going to use this money in order to join a gym because remember, he can no longer go to that high school gym to work out. So we have a sportscaster on television who's roasting Malik in the fact that he's going to be one of the first black owners in football, despite his shady character from, punching people in wheelchairs to being womanizing, marrying and divorcing Robin Givens, and basically his list of reasons why he's not the best black person to be the first at something. And he gets mad and breaks the TV because he just is pissed off at the fact that he's being mocked and ridiculed, essentially meaning that you're not good enough, Malik. So Raquel and Brittany are over at their apartment. Brittany's venting about the fact that she isn't able to utilize her full skill set. And I feel like that could be said of any young person who's getting into a career field for the first time, because they start at the bottom. It's like, I have so much potential, I have so many ideas. And I think for Brittany, it really sucks because she had her own business, but it tanked due to, the Rona. But now she's got to, be a gopher. Go for this, go for that. Go get me this. Go clean my earrings. Go do that. But she wants to do more. And from there, Raquel actually allows Brittany to change around some furniture, essentially redecorate the apartment. And she's working on a set list for, an upcoming party. So we got Tasha talking with Mongol Magazine because she's trying to make, the top 100's women's list. Will essentially make the #1 spot. And she's confident that she's going to sign Keith to her firm. But she gets a call from Brittany saying that he actually signed with somebody else. So just to skip ahead here, she eventually makes her way down to Georgia and meets up with Keith. And in order to prove how devoted she is to her cause to sign him, she actually helps out with the chores from, rounding up the pigs, milking the cow, just putting together hay barrels and everything. She's literally doing it all. I love the moment where she's cleaning her red bottoms, but then he comes out of nowhere. Hey, I think you need these, the boots. And from there, I think that it was like some peanut butter rolls or whatever. And, they had some cannabis. And in the midst of them just, relaxing, he brings up the fact that, Miss Mac, you're doing a great job. And I love the fact that, you're trying to connect with me, but I want to make it to like the Billionaires Club by a certain age, and I don't think you have the balls to get me there. And then she pulls out a bottle like Keith Kincaidorade in order to show that just because I'm not a man, you don't think I can take it to that level. You know what? Screw this. I'm out of here. So after that, we go over to the apartment, and Raquel is shocked that so much has changed in there. But not only that, all the stuff that was in there, like the old furniture, the couch, the trunks and everything, she gave that to the mission. So they had to go down there because she's freaking out that a family heirloom, aka a yo-yo her mom gave her that meant so much to her, was in one of those boxes, and then it got thrown in the trash. So they go dumpster diving. A kid actually takes it, or he actually found it, and instead of getting the $50 that he wanted when she pulled out a 20, Brittany actually got a signed Malik jersey and traded that for the yo-yo. And it's funny because the kid, it's like, hey, stop cussing. I'll give you that jersey. Okay. Hey, grandma, I got a Malik Wright signed jersey. This could easily go for 5 C notes. And it was a learning experience for Brittany because she doesn't have material things that mean that much to her because, her parents will either buy her a lot of stuff. Not to mention, when you look at Brittany when she was younger, Jason was really stickler for spending money, so I doubt that there's a lot of material things she would even have that would have that much meaning to her. So it was really a great episode showing how selfless Brittany can be when the situation demands it. Not only that, it was just cool to see the friction between her and Raquel. Like, even though they're friends, they don't always see things the same way, but at the same time, they've grown closer as friends as a result of the experience. But aside from the Brittany, Raquel, and the Tasha and Keith scenes of the episode, what I really loved about this particular episode was the golf course scene. Now, one of the running themes from both this episode and the next episode is the fact that Garrett and Jameson recommend Malik do No Nut November because of the fact that it leads to some form of clarity. And, Garrett Garrett's practicing his golf shots and Malik's getting a haircut. And then from there, it's a 30-day book that will help Malik get his game together. And from there, Malik actually invites Jameson to the golf course. Basically, hey, be quiet, don't embarrass me. And they get there. And it's called the Owner's Open. So basically, Malik is trying to, walk the walk, talk the talk of an owner or soon-to-be owner. But, it's funny because he has Jameson there as a caddy and they kind of make fun of him for it. It's like, you know what, caddies was a thing in the 1960s. I don't know what you're doing now. So, Jameson was disappointed. Like, hey, I thought you were inviting me to play. Oh, no. You're just here to make me look good. Oh, okay. Because from there, Malik is feeling himself and he decides to make a bet $100,000 a hole. Well, actually, I think he said, what was it, 5,000 a hole? But then the Colonel's like, no, I play for 100,000. So, Malik is like, oh yeah, 100,000 a hole. Yeah, we can do that. I think I'm conflicted on what my favorite part of the golf match is. It's either at the very end of the golf match where Malik is losing bad, but he decides that if he makes this shot, he'll pay the Colonel double what he already owes. But if he gets the shot, then he has to sign Jameson to the training camp. And, this is after Jameson gives him some great advice on his little, hey, the Colonel's running his mouth because he knows that if you can beat him, you can be him. And then from there, Malik has this like boost of confidence and he barely missed a shot. And then the Colonel gave him advice about, make decisions based on the benefit of the franchise, not emotion, and the fact that Jameson brings a lot of negative traction to the team, which is bad for the franchise overall. So before that, it's just the fact that Garrett, I think Malik bust out the cigars first, and then the Colonel's like, no, I think Garrett should, be the one to help us celebrate, considering he's about to sign a major deal. And then Garrett's like, no, you made that deal with Tasha. Let me tell you how I want it. You made $500 million off our backs, meaning that it's easy for you to meet my demands. I want to be the highest paid defensive player of all time. Now, I could be wrong about the position. I might have wrote it wrong in my notes, but basically the position that Garrett plays, he wants to be the most wealthy or highest earning player of all time. And I'm like, holy crap. This reminds me of when I read that book. Was it Moonwalker? Was that the name of the book? It was Michael Jackson's biography that he wrote back in the day. And he mentioned, like, after the Off the Wall album, he wanted to, blow up. He wanted Thriller to be the It album. He wanted to be the richest, highest earning artist of all time. Hence why he did things like, buy the Beatles catalog and all this other stuff. So Garrett, I mean, that was an interesting scene. So from there, Malik has a one-on-one with the Colonel saying, I would bench his behind, teach him a lesson. But then the Colonel's like, this man single-handedly secured 2.5 games for us, which led to us getting a championship, which led to us moving to LA, Nevada or Vegas, doubling the earnings and overall worth of the franchise that I own, along with him single-handedly selling, the third highest jersey in the league, as well as, the draw that people buy tickets for, and you want to bench him. Basically, this entire golf course was a losing session for Malik. Not only did he lose $400,000 to the Colonel, but it's just the fact that he doesn't talk the way owners talk. He doesn't think the way owners talk. Like, there are multiple times where the Colonel and Garrett are having these conversations that go completely over Malik's head in terms of like investments and things like that. And, he's talking about Bitcoin where they're talking like real estate. So it's just a matter of Malik wanting ownership so bad, but then realizing he doesn't really fit that particular mold yet. So, it turns out that he actually gives Jameson a ride home when they're back at the house. He mentions the whole No Nut November thing. Keep it up, keep the game focused, because that's perhaps the thing Malik needs in order to move forward in his career, both on and off the field. So I think he even has some women over, but in terms of the No Nut November, he's like, you know what, ladies, y'all have some fun by the bar. I'm going to drop off my boy Jameson, and I'll be right back. And, Caleb, of course, is mad about the whole thing in his mind, if you will, because he's a figment of Malik's imagination. So on the way home, it turns out that Jameson actually is living out of a car due to the fact that he has a rundown neighborhood, but there's no people pointing, there's no protest signs or anything, no judgment due to his allegations and why he was arrested for assault, that kind of stuff. But then Malik, hey, take what you got that isn't something that could be burned, because he's like, you need to just burn this entire thing and just come on with me to my place. So The ending was really touching because it really shows how Malik has changed since season 1. It really has. So I really love this episode, but the next episode truly was wonderful from start to finish. So this episode of the game was fantastic. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like and subscribe. And if you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App.